All right, there we go, Zach. Look at that. We're back in business. We're ready to rock and roll. And yeah, I'm moving slow, but let's try to retweet. Yeah, it is. It is. It is. It's Thursday. It's January 28th. Welcome everyone to Living Room Sports Talk here, Macaulay. Got the great Zach Rothenberger here. I guess my mood's doing a little better. Not that we're going to make this about the me show here, but
well, I was going to check in. You know what? I did notice something changed on your wall. I see you already turned the page. It's February now.
I know.
Little Metallica, you turned the page, huh?
Uh-huh. Well, yesterday was we're over at Wednesday. So just because the season ended, that doesn't mean that you can't follow the rules. Still got to follow them.
I like it.
And they helped me, by cleaning house with their special teams coordinator. But that kind of helped me already think about next year a little bit. And I was like, all right, we'll be all right. I don't know if he's going to be back, but yeah, we'll get to the NFL chatter in a little bit. To that point, we have a good show for everyone lined up. So yeah, and it's kind of funny. We were talking about this before we jumped on the air. How it's funny how this is the first show I feel like since Labor Day, where we had to kind of think about things to talk about, not in a bad way, but just more normally it's okay, well, we have a million college football games, we have a million NFL games, we'll talk about all those, talk about our fantasy team. There's almost too many things to talk about. Whereas now it's all right, we can, kind of unwind a little bit. Off-season chatter, if you will. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's all good stuff. Very exciting.
So to that point, so we'll talk the stock market's been a little crazy. So we got a little fun, a lot of fun show tonight. A lot of little fun little segments, but we'll do a little stock high and low on some different teams. We'll talk obviously about the Super Bowl a little bit more. Obviously, we'll talk about a lot next week, but we'll dive into it a little bit this week, as well as some NFL chatter. We'll do some miscellaneous banter. We'll hear from the chat. Obviously, we'll talk about the weekend ahead. We'll do show versus street. So it'll be a lot of fun. But I'll tell you, who our leadoff hitter is in the show. Always, let's do the little clickbait cleanup, Zachy. What do you say?
Yeah, let's do it. We're not going too far from the usual circuits with ESPN leading the charge. So Deshaun Watson trade proposals. Let's play that game, Kieran. Especially now that he's officially did the trade request. Even though this is the third time I'm pretty sure ESPN has posted a potential trade offer for Deshaun Watson in the last
Dude, they're gonna do it every day.
It's just kind of annoying at this point in time. I get it. He wants out of Houston, but and to see the dogs in the background, they're freaking out too. They don't get it either.
Dude, I love that you got the dogs barking back there. Ozzy, Scout, the whole crew.
Yeah, who let the dogs out, right? But
yeah,
and I'm just tired of hearing all these hypothetical situations. There's no point in playing the hypothetical game. It's like doing a mock draft 6 months in advance. It doesn't make sense.
Well, and the thing is, and it sounds funny when you kind of step back, and we'll talk about the Deshaun Watson thing a little bit later, but my just kind of off the top, you're right, just thought with the whole thing is, we'll find out at some point, probably, I don't even know when, that's to that point, that's also why, I care less about this, or I couldn't care less about this, but it's we'll find out eventually when this happens, and there'll be the teams that are rumored and stuff, they're just going to, this is the time where there's nothing going on, so they're just going to talk for the next month about how he possibly could fit really every other. They're going to find a way to write about how Aaron Rodgers is not happy in Green Bay and that really the Packers should take Deshaun Watson and it's kind of a reboot. And then they'll do something with it. I mean, it's what they always do. That's for clickbait.
Yeah, Giants Twitter is blowing up already, as you can imagine too. It's the same old song and dance.
Would you take him though? I'm sorry, I have to be clickbait guy here for a second.
Oh, I mean, I think if we were to get him, I think we're instantly
Saquon and DJ for him.
Saquon and DJ?
Mm-hmm.
No
draft picks though.
I would do Jones and 2 first-round draft picks this year and next year.
That'd be kind of fun.
Yeah.
Now, real quick. Oh, look at this dropping frames. I love that. Let's take. Oh, look at that. It's actually perfect that the chat is bringing up what they are bringing up about Aaron Rodgers and his destination for next year, because that's my clickbait. Which is funny, so I think everyone's doing this. I just grabbed the one from Barstool, but that was basically saying, an NFL exec says that, what's going to happen between Aaron Rodgers and the Packers is going to get nuclear. It's not. It's actually really funny because I saw Andrew Brandt quote tweeted it, and I thought this was great. Just in translation, NFC North exec will do anything to stir the pot to stop the Packers from winning the division next year. But if it's to the chat's point and to that clickbait point, I mean, right, there's just so many different articles out. He's not going anywhere. And the fact that I have to, this is this is what's horrible. It's almost like getting dumped and fired on the same day because like you're just sitting there kind of worried about your emotions, your personal life, but everyone's sitting there be like, what are you gonna do for money? What's gonna happen now? Like, do you have enough savings? And you're just kind of like, everything. I want to die. Like we're like everything was so good yesterday, and now it's not good. And that's how I feel with this team. It's just like we literally were talking about Super Bowls this time last week, and now we go from that to then all of a sudden, and then and this is great. Oh my God, I forgot. Joe had such a good one, and I forgot to use it. But we can save the moment here.
Yeah.
Donovan McNabb was saying in an interview, basically he was alluding to how him and Aaron Rodgers are synonymous because they have the same conference record, like conference game record. So he's basically saying like, well, we've both been to one Super Bowl. Like lots of guys have won one Super Bowl. Like he's just another brick in the wall in that crowd. Like to me, like we're the same.
And where's McNabb rank on
I don't know.
all
He
the
must
quarterback
have
rankings?
cough syrup and the alcohol again because that
Because he's off the list. I mean, like, come on. And Rodgers actually won one.
And it's funny because Joe and I were talking about this yesterday, and I think it's so true how like Brett Favre and Donovan are actually very similar because it's like I was about to say they both did one Super Bowl, but Favre actually went to two. They both lost the Super Bowl, but just the whole like now they go on the airwaves, right? And like Favre will stir the pot up with the Rodgers stuff, and then like just say a lot of stuff. He'll talk about Carson Wentz. I don't know if Carson Wentz gonna be back next year. It's like who the hell are you, Brett Favre, to talk about that, right? And then Sidney Donovan, it's just like this is just old NFL players getting in the mix just to get their name out there and to probably make money.
Yeah, they're just trying to stay relevant somehow, and it's kind of it's comical, but at the same point, it's like enough's enough.
I know. Oh, I love what Alex said about the stocks. We're having some fun with that little stock segment in the show. Did you have any GameStop stock in there?
I actually did not, unfortunately.
I made a crypto play. I saw Joe Selena retweeted something, so I made a small little crypto play today, and it's actually working out pretty good.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Perfect.
Can I announce that on the shows at Insider Trading? How's that work?
I don't know, man. You better watch out.
I don't know. If they like investigated me, I just be like, do you know how stupid I am? Like I can't even trade like outside, inside, wherever trade. Like I can't do it. No, but and it's funny with the McNabb thing too. Man, I think you see how Andy Reid and him went, and now how it's going in Kansas City. It just shows you like how, if anything, like Andy, like how Donovan maybe wasn't as good as well. Like right, like basically before it was like Andy Reid and Donovan. Now it's almost like, well, it was Andy Reid. You know what I mean? Like just because what he's doing in Kansas City and like, but obviously he's got probably the best quarterback ever. But yeah, all right. But anyway, all right. So Alex got in a few of the little Reddit stocks. That's good. That's good stuff.
There we go.
All right, but I'll tell you. So let's jump into the show. So, man, I don't like LeBron. I'm an MJ guy, big MJ guy.
We're the same. We agree on that one.
Yeah, we are. I was about to say, at that point, I might as well just rope you into this. I was just, I just want to make sure, like, you felt comfortable jumping in the hot water with me.
Oh, I'm the one who said LeBron ruined the NBA, so we're good.
Okay, yeah. All right, so you did a can opener, so now I'll jump in.
Yeah.
But I saw the foul. Of course, I forgot to cut up this highlight and put it up on the show. But I saw the highlight yesterday of him having the flagrant against Embiid, which I hated that foul. And it just kind of reminded me how much I hate him. Which is my fanboy of whining, but it made me kind of think about athletes in a sense of like, there's definitely some like players or coaches or whatever like out there that no matter what team they play for, where they go, I'm always gonna not like them, right? You know what I mean? It doesn't matter, and a lot of that probably stems from like your own fandoms as a kid growing up and stuff like that. But like, not all of them, and I mean, LeBron's kind of one of them for me. I'm sure he is for you too. But we got Uncle Ricky in the chat.
Oh, there we go.
I like how I indigestion.
Good evening.
Oh yeah, love it. But let me ask you this: like, is there any? Do you want to kick it off? Is there anyone that you have on your list?
Yeah, for sure. So I'll stay in the NBA circuits, and just to be clear, the criteria was current active players.
Yeah.
So James Harden is on my list.
Oh yeah, I can't stand James Harden.
Just because we all saw what happened with Houston, how he sold out basically, and you could say the same thing about Kevin Durant, but like something about James Harden just really bothers me about how he just he doesn't play defense. He seems like he's a one-sided player, and it's always got to be he needs the ball. He's just selfish, in my opinion, and yeah, that too. And I just I can't get behind that. Like I feel like he would he would be. I'm a big culture guy when it comes to teams and sports. I know you're the same way.
Yeah,
And I just think if he's on like one of my teams, I think he could ruin the culture. Even though he's talented on the offensive side of the ball, I just don't know big picture if it does more harm than good. And I don't know. I don't have room for selfish players on my teams. So.
you're right. And the way he left, and even honestly, the way he forced himself off OKC to go to Houston.
Right, that too. It's just I don't like it. I don't care for that.
And you're right. The way he draws flat fouls and a lot of it's embellishment and all that. You're right. I can get behind that.
Yeah. I just don't know if he makes the team better. That's all.
Well, so I'll go next. Sour grapes, Kieran. I was gonna go Tom Brady. I know. I'm pissed off still.
Well, I would say that I'm in the boat with you as well.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with this past. Like, it doesn't, like, right, win or lose. It's not like, you can go anywhere. I mean, it's like, you can't root for Tom Brady. It's like rooting for like the evil empire.
Right. No, that's a good analogy.
Yeah, I'm trying. Darth Vader and all them.
Yeah, I think his story is phenomenal. I love his story.
Yeah, I don't really hate him as a person. Like, I mean, I just hate him for what happened on Sunday, obviously. But no, I mean, but I just mean that it's like, well, I think really what it comes down to, I sound like a lunch like box like mom on the schoolyard saying this, but it's like, can someone else win for once? Like, you know what I mean? But it's just the kind of, I'm so tired of him winning, so I don't care where he goes. I'm like, I'm an eyelash man. I hate when that happens.
Oh, that's the worst.
But I know, isn't it the worst? Especially, of course, it has to happen. It never happens all day, and of course, right when we go on air, it's like, oh, he's on the air. Let's get these eyelashes in his eye. Right. But I mean, I don't know. Like, he could go anywhere, even if that team's never won a ring. I'm like, well, he's got enough to hold you over. So, sorry about that. I can't spare you anymore.
Yeah, I think my biggest issue with him is he's a sore loser. I understand you're competitive, you want to win, obviously, but you can still make time to be, a good sport. Like the whole time, and I wanted to say this the other day when he was playing catch with Drew Brees' kids after the game. Do you think he does that if the Saints win that game and the Bucs lose? Hell no, he doesn't do that if they lose the game. He's a crybaby, man, and he cheats. The whole time in New England, he basically cheated. Like I hate that. My blood pressure's rising now.
I know. I have no spirit after after Sunday.
I just don't know how genuine he is when it comes to the sportsmanship of the game.
He does a good job of playing man, I'm just so happy to play football.
He wins very well, but he's the sorest loser in the league.
I know. This fight Payne was a little bit like that. People don't really knock him for that, but he was a little bit like that.
Yeah, he was a little bit. It's a good catch there. He was.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just
yeah.
All right, we'll move past that. But it's funny. Chad agrees with you too about the Tom Brady thing with the Saints. All right, but do you want to go next?
Yeah, I'll stay with football, and I might have a personal vendetta here. It's Deshaun Jackson. Listen, great talent, phenomenal athlete, but I just can't stand the cockiness. And of course, I'm a divisional foe, so of course I'm going to hate him with all I have, obviously. But just the way he is when he scores a touchdown, just the showboating. Again, I'm going to come across like I'm probably like a 70-year-old traditionalist, all that good stuff. But I just don't. I don't know. I think it's so. I just think it's so immature, and it just doesn't set a good example. I don't know, like the whole walking backwards and running across the 1 yard line, the whole 50 yards or whatever the length side of the field until you score. You're kind of a, what to me. But
well, I'll walk it in from a non-NFC East bias. I would say that he's the type of guy, if he's on your team, you love him.
Yeah,
because he has that attitude about him, especially in his prime. But if he's not on your team, then, and I think which kind of really makes this a good answer for this segment, is because I think most Eagles fans could agree. Because right, there's guys I would say, right, like if they weren't on my team, I'd hate them. Right, Aaron Rodgers probably at the top of that list, right? You know what I mean? Well, he would before, not now, because everyone knows he's cool now, but including me. But I knew before because
Yeah.
But I'm just saying. Yeah. All right, I'm just gonna stop talking about the Packers, but. Anyway, back to the segment we're doing on the show. But no, I agree. And that's the thing to me, what sours me, I'll go like a level below it. That what bothers me about Deshaun Jackson is just how he he went back and forth with the abdomen thing last year, the core surgery. And then he finally, he didn't want to get it. So then he finally did. And then, then he got hurt again, like 2 seconds after he came back. And then he ended up getting surgery anyway. Like, that was like, and then this year he barely played. It's just like, it just seems like wherever he goes, whether it was Tampa, the Washington football team, the Eagles, especially the second stint, it's like he's always hurt. He always gets hurt at some point, like a soft tissue injury, which to me I always just stop and I think, like, doesn't that reflect a little bit about like your prep, like the way you're like, taking care of your body, like all those little things? I don't know. So I'm with you.
Yeah, it does. It comes down to your stretching, your training, and the dogs agree in the background again.
I love it. I also get a kick out how much you hate it. Like
it bothers me so much.
Good, dude. It's just little dogs barking, man.
Yeah, they're letting their voice be heard, I guess.
Yeah, they want to be on the show too. You can't fault them for that. How I was about to say, just open the door, get them in here. Like that's
I'll bring them up sometime.
We have to do that sometime. Like Mr. Rogers might bring the dogs in.
Next on your list.
Yeah, I was about to say. Actually, it's kind of funny because I feel like my pick is like synonymous to the Deshaun Jackson, but the modern day. Stephon Diggs.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. As a Packers fan, that's where it starts. But like, there's certain guys, and like I'm obviously coming at this from a very biased perspective, and I just said I was going to stop talking about the Packers, but I'll just make it quick. Like when they go to Lambeau, and they're like trying to mess with the fans, like a little bit like how kind of like back in the day Randy Moss did it, although I think he's grown up and moved on. But like Diggs always did that, like throwing the ball, like chucking it in the stand, kind of like those little things, or like like trying to do like his own little Lambeau lead, like just like those little things that just I hated it. And I don't know, I just feel like everyone's loving him right now and his stock's way up. I didn't even like, as a football fan, I didn't like how he was imploding on the sidelines as the Vikings were beating the Saints that wild card game 2 years ago. So to me, I just kind of shrug and I'm like, all right, like if the Bills don't win as many games next year, how long does like that good behavior last?
And that thought crossed my mind as well, because all is well and good when you're getting fed the ball 15 times a game, and you're the league's leading receiver in receptions and yards and all that good stuff. And you could start to see the side that you're talking about in the AFC Championship game when he, in the firth half, especially when I think he only had like 2 catches.
Oh, really?
You could see his.
I honestly don't remember the first half of that game because I was just I think I was outside just crying pretty much. So
Yeah, but everything that I see out of Buffalo is all good stuff about him and everything, but that can quickly change. And you know how it is, the honeymoon phase. It's the first year at a new location. Everything's all hunky-dory. Mm-hmm. And, a couple things happen, little bumps in the road. And
second year tizzies and then third year fighting.
Yeah, exactly. Like next year, if they lose in the divisional round, then it's going to be turmoil city.
Yeah.
But that's a good one. I think he is right on par with the whole Deshaun Jackson vibe too. So that's a good one. Yeah.
What about you? What's your third one?
We're gonna go a little outside the usual circuits of what we talk about. We're gonna go with golf.
All right, there we go.
So, I don't know are you familiar with Tyrrell Hatton?
Tyrell
Hatton. So I think he's English.
I was about to say, is it Tyrell? Like I have no idea.
I think he's English. He used to play on the European tour full time, and now he splits time, but he's been mainly present in the PGA Tour now. He's a good golfer, but again, I don't mean to sound like I'm a grouch, but like he won the Arnold Palmer Invitational last year, right? And he just has a really bad. Trying to sound like either like the elementary G-rated person either, but he just has a horrible attitude, and I feel like the game of golf is like one of the purest games. Professional like sports that's left, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And like as far as just how it is, and,
gentleman's game,
right? Of course, there's a couple bad apples and things happen here and there, but like he hit his ball in the water, and he gives the middle finger, and it's on national TV. He gives the middle finger to the pond that he hit his ball in, like as if it's the pond's fault that he just hit the water. Like, and I don't know, he just like
that's just amateur,
right? He's just very amateur. That's the way. He carries himself as very amateur with his professionalism. It just bothers me.
I look out for this guy.
Yeah, he just bothers me. He's entertaining. He just bothers me,
I love this. All right. It's funny because I was going to say, do you like him more than DeChambeau?
No, I like DeChambeau more than Hatton. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
That's a fun one.
Yeah, that's a good.
Yeah, All right, but also, and then I'll wrap it up. I'll make this one quick. Sidney Crosby for the Penguins. I don't care where he goes. Because and the thing is, it's more than him playing for the Penguins. It's how much he hates Philly, and it's just like, and it's how much he flops. and it's how much he'll commit penalties and they'll let him get away with it. And he'll slash people's wrists. Not naming names, but right, it's the same. Like I hate him.
Yeah, I mean, I know just from he's actually on my fantasy hockey team, which I'm in this year, by the way. But
that'll be fun for you.
But yeah, no, I see you.
Especially when he plays the Flyers.
Yeah, it's I just remember like years ago when he was like in the peak of his prime, and he still plays well, obviously, but when he was like in his prime, that everyone always used to say how much of a baby he was and how he, would always avoid contact and the flopping and stuff. So I can totally see where you're coming from.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get some negative vibes out of the way. Let's go positive vibes, like the stock market, right? If your GameStop, I guess, was pretty good.
There you go. Yeah, some positive vibes. I like that.
I was about to say, are you a stock guy?
Yeah, I've invested a lot more, like just diversity in my portfolio the last like year and a half.
It's fun, isn't it? It's kind of like gambling.
It really is. It's like an acceptable way of gambling in a sense.
Yeah, like it's funny you said like I'm gambling on sports. Everyone's like, what?
Everyone thinks like Keanu Reeves in Hardball, like they're about to get die, And,
yeah, right. Exactly. If you say like, oh, I'm throwing some money in the stock market, everyone's like, right on, good for
investment.
You.
Diversify that portfolio.
Hey, good job. You're young, like, even if you're losing money, you're still winning money. That's the best way you could have spent your money. Like that's
the second best investment besides real estate.
Oh, I know. Oh my God, it's like that. It could fit this like in the Progressive commercial. But to that point, I figured it did obviously it is a little bit of a cheesy segment, I guess, but it did kind of hit me today. I'm like, all right, well, let's look at the world of sports and pick a team on each side. And it can be any sport, but it's funny. I know you told me you're feeling the football vibes today.
Yeah.
So pick a squad where you feel like, and here's the thing, I'll say like a precursor before we jump into the combo. And I want to hear from the chat too on all this. Like, if you do the Bills, for example, like that's not a good one because they just went to the AFC champ. Like that was last year.
But their ceiling is they're almost
exactly. Like it already popped. Like it's like okay, we just saw the tweet about like how you should buy like GameStop. Well, it already jumped. Like it's like what was GameStop? Like what's gonna be the next one kind of a thing with like this whole boom. I don't know. This is why I didn't take finance classes, but yeah, I'll tell you. You want to kick us off with? Do you want to go? Low, high, or vice versa, or however. I'll do whatever you want to do. I don't care.
I'll go my stock. Which one I'm down on? Which one that I would fade, I guess, or just avoid or hold, as the analysts say, is the Denver Broncos. I would hold big time on the Denver Broncos. It just seems like every offseason we hear about their defense, and this and all these weapons on offense, and just every year nothing materializes, and they still have Pat Shurmur calling plays. Reminder.
I love how it always comes back to Pat calling the plays.
Yeah, and I just don't know what to make. And it's that there's a lot of uncertainties. So I think it's risky, the risky investment. And I think for two, when you look at the sector they're in of the AFC West, it's tough. I mean, obviously the Chiefs, the Raiders are kind of there, and then the Chargers, you could say the same thing, but if you look at all four teams, the Broncos are the worst, so there's all this hype every offseason, whether it's through, maybe it's stock twits are blowing them up or whatever, and it just never materializes.
That's a good pick, too, because, and this is not a shot at Vic Fangio, but I just feel like, he's screwed next year, and he'll be one of, those guys that gets fired. It.
Unfortunately, yeah. I mean, it's a shame because their offense has a ton of talent and Jerry Jeudy showed flashes and I would expect him to get better. Courtland Sutton's going to be back.
Their line sucks. You know what I mean? That's what I hate about all of us when we talk about football because we want to look at the rims on the car and we don't talk about what's actually on the inside and the interior. With what's under the hood of it, I should say.
And I feel like Drew Lock is
he's always running for his life, getting hit. I mean,
he's made of glass. Yeah.
Yeah, that too. I mean. Yeah. It's like you can't even get to the whole is he a good quarterback conversation because he's always getting hurt and hit, which I'm not even blaming him fully for.
Yeah, no, it's a shame because like I said, the talent's there, just something never just doesn't seem to come together. I don't know.
I'll tell you.
Do you want me to go low or do you want me to go my what I'm buying?
Do you want me to go low? Just get all the lows out of the way. Let's
get the lows out of the way.
So I gotta duck, but I actually don't think a lot of people would disagree with me on this one. Mine's the Eagles, dude. I don't I'm trying to look at this thing from a couple different directions, and I don't really know how they're going to be like how they're. I don't know how they're going to improve a whole lot the next few years, and I guess I'll lay it out because I just have so many question marks. First of all, right, not to be the obvious, clown in the room, but it's like their quarterback, right? We don't know if Sirianni will be a good coach, but let's just say he is, right? Let's just say he's an all right, like just an okay coach. Well, for starters, like when you just start talking about that, I don't like one of the other reasons I have my notes here is like I don't like their culture with like the whole Jeffrey Lurie gets to have a little bit of say and Howie Roseman gets to have a little bit of say and like it's all one, kind of a thing. I don't like that. And I think basically my whole thing is until they get rid of Howie Roseman and until he's not running their draft board anymore, like why would you want that stock? That's the thing that scares me. And I'm looking down, it's like what excites me about them? Right? Like I don't know who their quarterback is. Miles Sanders is good, but I mean, we just saw that last year, whether it's the coaching or whatever, like right, it wasn't like he, brought the house down with his play last year. Mm-hmm. Right. So, I mean, to that point, it's just like, I sit back and I say, okay, wow. Like, I don't know where they go from here. I mean, they're in a terrible cap situation. The division's getting better. And even this is, this is going to sound like a shot. I don't mean it to be. It's more just, I think, a realistic comment. Like there's pressure to win here, right? So like I don't think, and I just don't know like kind of how these guys are all going to put it together. Obviously, you guys see what they do in the draft and free agency, but right now from a financial standpoint, and then from a drafting standpoint, there's nothing that really excites me. And then all the Sirianni pick to me is just the whole kind of just the Howie Roseman, Jeffrey Lurie culture of just we're all one, we're all like I was just saying. So like that's to me, I don't know. I don't feel good about it.
Yeah, the Howie Roseman and Jeffrey Lurie, what you brought up is a good point because the culture just seems out of balance right now, and how everyone wants to have a say in everything. It just seems to me that it's like, it's like one micromanager after another, and how that is. If you have a micromanager, it kind of restricts everything.
Exactly. Like at some point, it's basically that's the. I mean, I can ramble on and on and on until they get rid of Howie Roseman. Like, why would I like that stock? I just feel like it's never going to bounce.
Yeah, it's a very volatile stock.
Yeah. All right, but I'll say there you go. But I'll say at that point, do you want to do a little positive one?
Yeah. So for me, and I'm going to sound so contradictory because of the comment I said about Dan Campbell's speech that it's a 4-12 screams 4-12. Well, all right, we're going with the Lions, and listen, this isn't a short-term play here with Detroit. This is a long-term, so they can go 4-12 next year. But long-term, I'm talking 2 to 3 years. That stock will pay off. And you want to know why? It's because although Dan Campbell's press conference got me a little riled up, not the good way, I guess. There's fresh blood leading the charge. They're open with communication with Matt Stafford saying, all right, we're going to trade you, blah, blah, blah. Like, this is the end. Thank you. They're good with communication. They come from a good ownership family, and Kieran, I don't mean to say this in a negative way, but I would have to imagine in 2-3 years, there could be a divisional switch. Not saying the Packers are going to be the worst, but I'm saying Aaron Rodgers, by 3 years out, will probably be retiring, I would imagine, right?
This makes sense. No, it does.
And the Vikings, the Vikings are just, I don't know, they don't really do anything for me. Kirk Cousins will be fading. And the Bears are still going to be the Bears as far as I know. So I think the Packers, regardless if Rodgers is there, are going to be tough. But what I'm saying is the other surrounding teams are going to be a switch. And I think 2-3 years out, the Lions could be a nice little gainer for you. And I know you were high on them.
They got talent, and they've got Anthony Lynn as their offensive coordinator, which I think is a good add. I'm always a big fan of peeling down the responsibilities and getting back to the job they love and what got them hired as a head coach in the first place. You love those types of hires.
Yeah, and Anthony Lynn's a big running back guy, so I think DeAndre Swift is going to excel even more.
That's a problem.
Because he was a running backs coach in Buffalo before he got the job in LA.
Yeah, this is a problem. Well, I was going to say, since that point, it's interesting because you just kind of not brush past. That's not the word I want to use, but you moved quickly past the whole Stafford thing. Like, oh, it's all good. They broke up. Who the hell was their quarterback?
Well, I know that. So that's the one question. But I think when you get a quarterback that aligns with the new vision of the company, the team, and where they're all on the same page, and Campbell gets his guy, whether it's in the draft, which could very well be in the draft, could be Justin Fields, and which again contradicting myself on the Ohio State quarterback takes, but no, I just think fresh blood. They have good surrounding talent. They just need a couple more pieces, and whether they get the quarterback in the draft or what I think will probably happen is probably be free agency or just from some type of trade, whatever. I think they're going to be better for a couple years out.
It's a fair take.
It's a nice long-term play for a stockholder.
There you go. Well, I'll tell you, I'm going to jump over into hockey because it wasn't just a football segment, but we found our way talking about that. I'm going with the Montreal Canadiens. That was my French-Canadian accent. That was horrible.
There you go. No, that's good.
Yeah, thanks, man. I appreciate that. But yeah, so I mean, I saw them firsthand when they played the Flyers last year in the playoffs, and they were a young, pretty gritty team. They added some vets. I mean, they scored 12 goals in 3 games. They're 4-0-2, so they've gotten points in every single game. They're second in the Eastern Conference, I believe. No, I'm sorry, they're second in the Canadian division. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and then I like what they're a scrappy team. I'd get in on the stock. They're young. They just seem to have a good blend. It's just they seem dangerous.
Yeah, no, they really do, and that's a good point. And I think especially now that they're in that Northern Division, I think gives them time to really show. Because I don't know how competitive the Northern Division is compared to some other ones, and I think it's a good year for them, for sure.
Yeah. Now, look, we got Iris. Well, it's fine. I was going to say we got Lauren in the chat. I was going to say she's just going as Lauren tonight. So no Iris Tequila Master. I like it.
Go.
Yeah, we got the chat cooking tonight. This is good stuff. I love hearing from everyone. What I don't love hearing is about the Super Bowl. I know, dude. It's like if you had like the worst hangover of your life, and then someone's just like talking about like a drinking bender, and you're just like, stop talking, please. Like that's where I'm at, with
yeah, I'm the same. I don't my NFL shows in the morning. I don't really watch them as long as I used to.
What's there to say? It's either the Chiefs repeat, Tom Brady wins another one.
Yeah, right. It's kind of the
hell of a storyline.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm just looking at the Packers in that gray picture, and it just makes me want to vomit.
Hey, at least they're all in that picture.
I know, but what's it's really was it better to love and lost or never love at all, right?
Well, why are the Saints not gray, and why aren't the Rams gray? Or the Browns or the Ravens?
No, they are. They are as you kind of move along. It's when you get knocked out, you get gray.
Oh, okay. Yeah, my.
No, it's okay. Is it too early to start talking about the Super Bowl? I mean, is it? Because seriously, I wonder that, right? Because I mean, obviously, you can just kind of harp on the Bucs and the Chiefs winning, and
yeah.
I mean, we'll get into so much of it next week. Sadly, I need some alcohol for that, but yeah. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm just really intrigued with the whole Tampa Bay playing at home.
There's no fans though. And even if there was, what's different? They don't have any fans.
There's 22,000 fans that are going to be there.
Oh wow, that's actually pretty good.
And I know like 7,500 are the healthcare workers that the NFL is paying their way. But you have to imagine that there's going to be some Bucs fans there, and I know the Chiefs fans travel very well, so they'll be there too for sure. And I think there's a lot of Chiefs fans, not just in Kansas City. I think they're kind of all over the place now, especially with the Mahomes era. I'm just intrigued because it's like as a player. And I know, Kieran, you would probably have a better mindset for this because then you played, at a high level basketball. Like, I wonder, do you get up? Like, are you, like, hyped knowing that you're just going right down the street? Or, like, is it, like, the buildup of going to the Super Bowl far, like, somewhere else? Like, that buildup, you know what I mean? Like, I know for me, like, when I would race, we had our nationals at Bristol, Tennessee. And like the buildup was like it got your adrenaline going, and like it was like you hyped yourself up for it. Whereas like if I raced in my local track 30 minutes down the street, yeah, you're hyped up for it, but it's like, all right, same old, like you're the same, blah blah blah,
So it's funny. I almost spit it back to. So I think what the Chiefs are getting there the day before, almost like a normal game, like a Saturday, like they're flying in on like Saturday, getting in, then like they'll play on Sunday, kind of thing.
Yeah.
I like that better. I wouldn't want to be Tampa where you're sitting there and it's just like in your face, like for 2 weeks, just like Super Bowl, Super Bowl, Super Bowl. I mean, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
it really
I
doesn't.
agree.
To be fair, like not to discredit like this conversation, what we're talking about, but like the better team's going to win. But no, I mean, personally, I mean, it's funny that I hate this as me like I didn't want to win anyway. But the two things I would have been thinking about to try to get like to mentally get back upright. If the Packers had flown down on that Saturday and then just started playing, I think they would have lost to whoever they played. I just don't think they would have been like. I always in my head thought, okay, well, we play in Tampa. They probably have a week to get adjusted to the temperature, so we'll be all right. Like,
Good point.
I mean, now I'm just walking down all sorts of high. Everyone's like, shut the hell up, Karen. Just please stop talking. But
Doesn't the away team? Don't the teams usually get there like a couple of days before?
about a week, I think. Yeah, it's about a week, I think. Usually
Maybe.
like Monday or Tuesday, they get there the next week.
I wonder if that's any different this year.
Yeah, so they're getting it on Saturday.
Oh, geez.
That's what I'm saying. So we're really getting in the night before kind of a thing, or like the day before or whatever.
So it's just like an away game.
Mhm, exactly. Yeah.
It's interesting.
And yeah, oh yeah, the weather in Tampa obviously is good. I mean, Chad could tell us he was FaceTiming us yesterday. It looked beautiful down there.
Was he?
Looked like a scene out of a movie. Yeah, it was like I was waiting for like Sting to come as we walk through the field. Yeah, it's very scenic. Yeah, we have to get him on the show. I feel bad. We have to get. He's down there for 2 weeks. I've lost my pep talking about football, as you can already tell. But well, dude, the thing for me is, and I'm just gonna make this quick. It's like one last analogy, just to for the 100th time, put in perspective how upset Kieran is about not being in the Super Bowl. But it's almost like you go through a breakup, and then you're still gonna go to the dance or whatever, but like you have to go stag now. You know what I mean? Everyone's like talking about the dance. It's like you excited for the dance, you have a fun dance, it's homecoming, and you're just kind of like. Yeah, but like I'm going and like I'm gonna have fun, but I'm not gonna have fun. Like it's literally the same thing. It's like I'll watch it. Like it's always the bridesmaid. Like,
no, I get it.
But at that point, I'll say it's funny. You know, you had a fun little idea. We were chit-chatting this morning. Speaking of bridesmaids, is there any? Actually, let's jump into the chat real quick. You want to do a little chatter?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you know, I'm happy they're saying that acceptance is, you know, one of the stages of grief. So I'm at that point.
There you go. Growth.
But yeah, no, and then just the rest of it is just confirming how the Chiefs are coming on Saturday, but which is good stuff. But so all right, I'll have you explain it because I feel like it's a good idea.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I feel like you know, today this episode is a lot about like analogies and comparing things to what's going on, right? So. You know, we talk about the Super Bowl. So we were talking this morning. We came up with the idea of, you know, what kind of movie, like what movie is like the Super Bowl matchup here? Like the storylines, like what kind of movie relates or is similar to this storyline for the Super Bowl? What we got this year. So I figured I'd have a little fun with that. You know, a couple different genres. So
I'll say, do you want to go first or do?
Yeah, I'll go. So for me, I had Saving Private Ryan was a for this, but you know what I ended up going with was Rocky IV, and I'm going with Rocky IV because I'm thinking Tom Brady is like Drago, right? Like you know he's playing in Tampa Bay. Drago, they fought in Russia.
Oh, I like this.
Yeah, and oh, you got the training montage now?
Oh yeah,
love it. Oh man, I'm about to do some push-ups now. You know, and Drago is like he's the villain. No one likes him, but he's just dominant and he's out of this world with his power and how well strong he is and how well he performs. And he just took out he killed Apollo Creed. And you know, then Patrick Mahomes is Rocky. He's coming into behind enemy lines for one of the biggest games of his career. And you know, and he's going to come in there, and I think he's going to end up on top, and then at the end they're going to have a speech about everyone changing and positivity and all that stuff. And you know, that's what I'm thinking. You know, I think Mahomes is going to play the Rocky character.
Well, and it's interesting too. I'm thinking about it because my question, I guess, is if Mahomes wins, is everyone just going to run with the story like, oh man, like it's over now, like the passing of the guard, or if you will, right?
Well, yeah, for sure. I'm sure they already have those articles typed up, ready to go.
You're
You
right.
know? Yeah.
They just have like three little body things open for like the game was final when the score hit, like da da da.
Yeah,
Just so you can
right.
act like it was in real time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and no, that's exactly what's going to be because Tom Brady, like I said, he's the bad guy no matter how good he is. Like Drago was, and you got Rocky, who he's looking out to not get revenge, I guess, in this sense in real life, but
Well, it's
try to
also like
defend his crown.
he's got the title and like from before. I don't know. Yeah, but it's funny. 'Cause
Yeah.
Actually, I was wondering where you were going with that when you told me it was going to be Rocky IV to grab the footage of it.
Yeah, I just like that because it's in Tampa Bay. He's at his home.
I like that.
And Mahomes is coming in. I don't know if Mahomes is going to do a training montage, but yeah, more so the location.
The Bose commercials kind of are when he's just doing bobbing his head around.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
All right, I'll tell you. I'm going to go with something a little more festive. In the spirit of Buccaneers and Pirates, I figured I'm going with Muppet Treasure Island.
That's a good one.
It's my movie. Yeah. See, I'm going at it from the perspective of like Tom Brady's Long John Silver. Like he's actually had a a really successful sailing resume, but at the same point, like it's tainted with cheating and just foul play, if you will. No one really likes him, but everyone kind of wants to be around him. Like like everyone's like, well, it's Long John Silver, but like like that's the same point. Everyone's like, no one likes him. And then I feel like Patrick Mahomes is like Jim. I think that's the name of the kid, right? In the movie.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So it's he's the kid who's actually smarter at the end of the day and better than Long John Silver, and that's why at the end of the movie he's going to win. So I feel like that's what Patrick Mahomes is. He's going to actually get the second Super Bowl, and really Tom Brady's just been doing it with good defenses and really all that. And
that's a spot on comparison.
Yeah, you like that?
And the Buccaneer theme, with the Pirates.
Oh yeah, absolutely. He's and that's the thing. He's got to go to treasure. With he's obviously he's been captured by the pirates. He's on their land, and that whole get up.
Yeah, no, exactly. I think that's perfect.
Yes, there's Jim Hawkins. Jim Hawkins there, Zachary.
There you go. That's a great movie. That clip brought back some nostalgia for me.
Oh yeah, I never want to see you ever again, Mr. Silva. Great stuff.
And the guy who plays Long John Silver is the guy in Scary Movie, the teacher.
Is he really?
Yeah, he plays
Tim Curry.
Yeah, he plays the teacher in Scary Movie or Scary Movie 2, I think, when they go to that haunted mansion. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, and everyone's saying they liked Long John Silver. Well, okay. Well, what do you like the Patriot? I mean, there's Patriot fans out there.
Yeah, they can be the Patriots fans.
Or Buccaneer fans, I guess.
Yeah, the Bucs fans, sure.
There's no one I'd hate more in this world if I just was like, oh, who do you like? Well, I'm a Tom Brady fan. I'd just like, all right, just get the hell out of my face, please.
Yeah, really?
Walk away. Like, please. Like I'm not in the gang, but like however those guys get like, the tempers for like if other gangs in the wrong neighborhood or whatever, that's how I'd feel if someone said that to me about like Tom Brady.
How many people do you know like Tom Brady?
That aren't Patriot fans?
Yeah, that aren't Patriot fans. Or I guess even Bucs fans. Now. Yeah,
literally
same.
zero.
I don't know any either.
Like at best you go, well, I respect them.
Right, and that's how I respect.
And we're like, all right, well, that wasn't the question. Like,
I don't like him. Yeah, no one likes him though.
You're right.
I don't know.
So right.
Yeah. We should maybe do a send out on social media. Who likes Tom Brady? Or do a poll on Instagram.
That'd be an interesting poll.
It would be.
What I was going to say too is, well, if you really want the Super Bowl matchup, for me, it's like a romantic comedy because it's just always the bridesmaid, never the bride. I feel like Sandra Bullock or something like the Packers. Like, it's like I don't even know. Like I'm like Meg Ryan or something.
Well, or the actual movie Bridesmaids. What was her name?
Alexa, who's in the movie Bridesmaids?
The cast of Bridesmaids includes Kristen Wiig, Terry Crews, Maya Rudolph, Tom Yee, Elaine Cow, Michael Hitchcock, and Collie Hawk.
Thanks. Maybe you start in a minute.
No, but hey, the nice thing is, at the end of the movie, Kristen Wiig, sorry, spoiler alert, everybody, finds the man of her dreams, right? So maybe Aaron Rodgers, Kristen Wiig.
Yeah, but that's the problem. We're not that movie. We're always, who's the bridesmaid at her wedding? Because we're that person. Like, it's awful. We're just literally, all right, I need to stop crying. To that point, are there any good sports looking ahead? I gotta get you to watch this. Did anyone in the chat? I need to hear from anyone. Did anyone watch the Tiger Woods documentary on HBO Max? Because it's really good.
Yeah, I need to get on that. I'm sure.
Dude,
it's great.
Look, I want to give you my password. Why won't you just take my password?
I just need to.
Just go on your laptop. You open it up. You search HBO Max. It says, "Oh, well, that's great, Zach. We'd love to have you in to watch the movie. Do you mind just giving us a password?" You're like, yeah. Like I'm like the guy who tells you just to tell the person at the door of the party. Like I know Kieran. And they're like, all right, well you know Kieran. Like that's fine. You can go in. And you'll have fun at the party. It's not like you have to live there. You're just going to be in there for 2 hours and have a good time. Then you're going to leave.
All right. I like that.
There you go.
You might have sold me.
I'm trying. See, in a world of analogies tonight, look at this. I'm just trying to pirate my online streaming stuff in a world where it's a felony now to. Did you see that it's a felony to stream games now?
Yeah, right.
Isn't that crazy?
Didn't know that.
Oh, you didn't see that?
No.
With all the stuff with Corona and stuff? Yeah, that's why Dana. Oh, I'm surprised you didn't see that with the whole Dana White thing. He was the one making a big hubbub of it with the whole Conor McGregor fight.
No, what do you mean streaming game? Streaming.
So if you're someone that streams, I know that was probably before we put it, illegally streaming.
Right. Not through ESPN Plus.
Right, like how you have to find, you try to go online and say, I can't find a link to watch the fight. Like whoever's the guy streaming that or girl, whatever, the person streaming it, that's a felony now.
Jesus.
Because of everything going on. And yeah, it's crazy. Now, if you call watching it, it's not a felony. It's the person hosting it.
So so basically, you need to just basically pay for the service that shows it, not try to stream it for free, right? Is what you're saying?
Yeah, and you could even go online and try to find the fight, like if there was a fight on, and if you find
without paying it.
Yeah, whoever was the guy that's posting it up there for you to find, that's the person they're going after.
Okay, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah,
Look at this.
Kind of.
Legal hour here on I was about to say Temple Sports Hour because I feel like we used to talk about all sorts of crazy stuff.
Now it's
we're college show.
Now we're the Macaulay Rothenberger law firm.
I know. Look at that.
Legal advice.
Yeah, look at that. Yeah, the Living Room Sports Talk law firm. The LRST law firm. I like that. See,
perfect.
This kind of rolls off the tongue. You want to do a little show versus street though?
Yeah, well, I think for weekend ahead.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, I'm jumping ahead.
Very good. So the Farmers Insurance Open. PGA action since there's no football. It's at Torrey Pines, one of the nicest courses in the world, and a lot of big names there. I saw Patrick Reed tied for the lead after round one, 8 under, and Rory McIlroy's there, John Rahm, Jordan Spieth. He's actually 3 under through first round, so it's nice to see him kind of back in the swing of things. No pun intended. Brooks Koepka is there. There's a lot of big names are there. So I think, Sunday evening, I'm sure it'll be pretty close coming down, the final 3 or 4 holes. So it should be some good TV on Sunday at least.
I love that.
Yeah. And I got a UFC fight night on Saturday night.
Another one.
ESPN Plus.
Fight night.
For fight night. Yeah. We got Alistair Overeem versus Volkov. I forget his first name. Alexander Volkov, I believe. Heavyweight fight. Should be good. Those never really last the distance.
I actually have seen that guy play. He's like the tall blonde guy, right?
Yeah, he's good. And in Overeem, he's been around for quite some time. I actually used to watch him kickbox back when we were in high school, over in Thailand. He's good. He's been around for a while. Yeah. Which is good or bad in the fight game. If you're around for too long, usually means you're on the decline. But he won his last fight pretty decisively. So, and we got New Jersey native Frankie Edgar in the
Frankie.
Yeah, and the co-main event against Sandhagen. I forget his first name, but it should be a good fight. Bantamweight fight, be a quick, scrapper, if you will. So.
Oh yeah, I love that.
Should be good. We got some sports, even though we have no NFL this weekend.
Yeah, and I was looking. There's not really a whole lot of good college basketball on. I mean, Lakers Celtics. If you're in the NBA, that's on Saturday night. Yeah. This is it. This is the world without football again. Remember how awful this was?
Yeah, and then there's a lot of hockey on this weekend too. So whatever your team is, got some matchups.
Plenty of hockey.
Yeah,
college hockey too.
Yeah, right.
But it's that point we do a little show versus street.
Yeah, let's do it. I'm gonna add a coaching carousel. Everything's pretty much kind of basically the dust has settled. I will say after Houston's latest hiring. So I mean, the oddball out is Eric Bieniemy. He got robbed again. Right? Do you agree?
So it's funny. I actually think my show and my street take are actually identical. So this works out perfectly.
There you go.
I just want to ask everyone, what job would, if, like, I don't know that everyone would say, well, it doesn't matter. You want to be an NFL coach, you take any job. But it's like, okay, but if you also are coveted the way he is, what are those jobs you want? We just talked about how the Eagles were like the stock down one, right? You're literally trying to sell me on how the Lions are the stock up, right? Like, but like, oh, not like we're joking or not being true to that. It's still like, okay, they still have a ways to go, and they gotta go off. Like, it's a tough job to take over. It's right. I mean, then you look at the Jets. That's a really tough job to take over. The Texans are an absolute mess. The Falcons are in a really tough division, and they're kind of a mess too. It's like, all right, you got Matt Ryan, but like, where does that actually leave you? And I'll double down, and everyone's like, okay, well, think about this, right? This is a pretty normal projection. I'm losing my mind. Projection. Look at me. This is the end of the week. I'm like, my mouth's falling down the stairs. I look at it like this. If you have the Chiefs offensive coordinator job, which, and this is not me saying this is what it is, I'm more just jokingly saying that, like, right, like, you got Patrick Mahomes, that's a good thing, right? Like, but to that point, right, like, so, and every year every position he doesn't get hired for, everyone's going to cry for his name to be hired more. And he's going to be wanted more, right? He's going to have more say in that whole thing. And I asked myself, okay, let's just say he took the Texans job, right? That's a nightmare. I don't know who could fix that team. So let's say after 4 years they get fired because they go like 8-8, 6-10, 8-8, 7-9, right? And they're just like, all right, well, this has been 4 years. We're not winning any games. We got to change it up. Then what? Now he was the offensive coordinator now for like, like the whatevers, right? So it's like, so you got to think, like, you got a good job now. Like, why would you leave a good job to go? And then, on the flip side, and it's, I don't know. I just think that, like, it doesn't, to me, it's a two-way street for all this.
Completely agree. Like, why would you want to give that up, being the offensive coordinator of the team that just won the Super Bowl and is going back there again, and
right.
will likely be there a handful more times within the next decade. So, yeah, and it's probably on his end, like we're all talking about. So obviously he's got talent. What team wouldn't want to hire him? Like, maybe it's just him not wanting to, and you can't blame him. But no one ever thinks of it that way, though.
No, and that's, I just don't get it. Like, it takes two to tango. Like, he's got to accept it, and I don't know. I'm trying to think of the jobs last year too, because I don't know.
Yeah, can we get sidetracked real quick?
Please,
pun intended. Is the Texans' job really that bad? Like, think about it.
Yeah.
Think about it, though. You're losing Deshaun Watson, right? But, like, you should get a semi-talented quarterback either in return, or you're going to get a ton of draft picks to get your.
Yeah, that's a good point. And then at that point, you could really just start from zero, blow it up, and then
make it like your team, and you still have in the defense. I mean, we always say every other defense, and it's like in the middle of the road. I'd say, obviously, J.J. Watt's not going to be around forever either, So I don't know. Just a little thought. I'm sure.
I like that, and it's an interesting thought too, because I don't know. Let's go back and forth. Let's say, I'll almost fit it this way: if you had a coach you really liked and he left for the Texans job, wouldn't you be saying like, "What are you doing, man?" Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, or would you be saying like, "Good for you"? Like, I think he can turn it around. Like, you know what I mean? Like, wouldn't your head probably be more out like, "Oh God, why would you take that job? Like, you're screwed."
Yeah, no, it's a good point. There's two ways to look at it for sure, but yeah, no, I mean, if you're right, if I'm Andy Reid and Bieniemy leaves, my team for that job, of course I'm happy for him, but at the same point I'm like, damn, you got some work to do.
Exactly.
So, yeah, it's
all right, Bell. So speaking of work to do, I'll spin this over to you. Did you watch the fight? I forget. Honestly, Monday, dude, I was so emotional. I forget. Did you buy the fight this past weekend, the McGregor one?
I did not. No.
That's good.
Yeah,
it was really good. Although, what if I came at you with a hot take for your little show versus street action? People saying that McGregor actually looks sharp and he's far from washed. It was just a bad plan, and it was a brilliant one from Dustin. But he'll be fine. He'll be back to being the champ sooner or later.
Oh, that he'll be fine. Okay. I thought you were asking if he was overrated. Let me think.
I'm sorry. I found the tweet. I thought it was so good.
Yeah, can you rephrase that? I'm sorry.
Basically they're saying like it wasn't, everyone's saying that Conor McGregor got his ass kicked in this tweet saying like it wasn't that guy's ass kicked. It was just, like he actually looked really sharp. It was just, he looks far from being washed. So I think that's almost the thing, right? Again, my take to you earlier was like, is he overrated or washed, overrated, like whatever. This guy's saying he's not. Like, do you agree?
Yeah, so my show take will say that, well, my show take and street are going to be similar, so I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. That's what I did too.
Yeah, so basically, I agree, completely agree. I think he's far from washed, and I think everyone who has never watched UFC in their life, except for when McGregor fights, is all on Twitter trolling, saying how he's overrated, he's junk, he's this and that, just because he lost this fight. And no one's giving credit to Dustin Poirier, who's actually a good fighter, obviously. And, that happens, especially in the fight game. I mean, Kieran, we watched a bunch of fights. You watched a lot of fights. How anyone can win in 1 second. And that's what happened here. Like, it's not like, these people are trained fighters.
Did you look at the box score? Like, was he winning the fight up until that point, until he got knocked out?
I don't think he was winning. It was fairly close, but the Dustin had a better better strategy where he had 20 leg kicks, already landed and destroyed his leg, which is, people don't realize, like, your legs are super important when it comes to throwing a punch or defending a takedown or anything. You need that stability, and he took that away from McGregor, which kudos to Dustin's strategy. It wasn't necessarily McGregor's doing, that was just strategy outweighing just the overall skill set, I'd say, of McGregor at that point in time. But no, I agree. He's not washed. I mean, we're talking about a guy. He's only 32. He's only 32, which some people might think, well, that's kind of old. Well, in the fight game, it's really not. Like, you usually hit your prime in your late 20s, early 30s.
Really?
And I still think he's in that. I really do. I mean, even though his career was mainly in his like mid 20s, late 20s, I still think he's there.
Do you think he screwed himself up by like training for that whole Mayweather fight?
No, honestly, I don't. I think what screwed him up was he's too busy thinking about fighting Khabib, and he's talking trash to him instead of focusing on the task at hand. I think he overlooked Dustin, personally. I really do. And I think his head got in the way of his actual game plan.
And what's their whole beef, him and Khabib?
I think it's just a matter of them, like, who's better? I'm better, and then Khabib beat McGregor, so of course McGregor was salty and wants to fight him again, so that's how it is. And hopefully they fight, because it would be good. But everyone who's calling McGregor overrated is just I think they need to revisit the UFC, especially the UFC history books, considering he was a champion in 2 different weight classes, which you can count on, I think, one hand.
It's unheard of.
Yeah, I can count on one hand how many fighters have ever done that. So yeah, I don't think he's washed. I think it was just one of those deals where he kind of overlooked Poirier, I think, and he just ran his mouth too much, which is what he always does. He ran his mouth too much, and he couldn't catch the check. So that answers your question, but
no, I love it. I'm learning. I'm just sitting here learning everything. I'm like, I'm just taking it like a sponge.
Yeah.
That's it. It's that point. It's like, we'd love to soak in like a sponge. More followers, right? You can check us out on Spotify and iTunes for all the audio episodes. And then check us out on social media, Instagram, Twitter, and Reddit at _get sidetracked. And make sure you visit the website at www.get-sidetracked.com. And then for all the video episodes, you can check us out on YouTube or Twitch. I guess we'll start with Twitch first. You can follow the heart to the left, subscription to the right for all the video action. And then it's free for Amazon Prime for a subscription too. So that's pretty cool stuff. And then it's also free to subscribe on YouTube. All you have to do is click the little subscription button, and it is free stuff. And yeah, it's fun. I'm just looking real quick at the chat too. But real quick, before I get to the chat, let's do a little tease for the store, right? Has all sorts of cool stuff you can buy. Getting ready for springtime. You want to buy a short sleeve shirt, Zach? You need a little cutoff there. Show off the guns for when it's starting to get warmer out, which is not now, but it's that point. It's when I'm trying to get to those warm months, and that's the point of the chat. Yeah, I'm moving over to February. It's funny. What the funniest thing is? I actually didn't think anyone would notice. I was like, I'm going to move it over. I just thought, like, there's no way anyone's actually going to notice I changed it. But, kudos to everyone. You and the chat and everyone. That's a good find. It's a good snack.
Right. Yeah. Thank you.
But yeah, you got any positivity or anything to take us out with on this Thursday night?
Well, we're supposed to get some snow, I think, towards the end of the weekend up here in in Northeast. So just bundle up and soak in some late round action of the golf tournament, and stay safe.
There you go. I love that. Awesome. So we'll be back on the air. I was about to say Saturday because I'm thinking of the snow now. Now I'm thinking Sunday. All right, Monday, 7:00. Yeah, dude, this is what happens if Packers lose. I'm just out in a mess. But I'll be better next week. But yeah, I want to thank everyone for chatting and listening. This is a lot of fun tonight. So we'll see you